Hi guys, welcome to Pearson Pretty. Hanni here. I just came home from a 1-week motorcycle trip to Lapland, hence the reindeer horns. And by the way, the small reindeers, they drop their horns by themselves, so nobody is getting hurt because of this beautiful decoration that we do have here now. As part of my Thoth studies series, I have ended up with having quite a few copies of the Thoth deck, even though this imagery is the same. But hey, people do collect Rider-Waite-Smiths in different editions also. So I thought I would show you all of my different versions of the Thoth. So actually I do have the Greenies, but of that deck I actually do have 3 different copies. This is my very first Thoth deck, which is a Greenie, and because I fell in love with it so much, I wanted to have a spare copy, and that's when I ordered the second copy, so just to have a backup. But then with the third, I ended up having it because I bought a vintage Rider-Waite-Smith and it came with that. So that's an extra that I might end up selling at some point, because now I have this Greenie and then the backup. So I'm perfectly happy with these. But this is my absolutely favorite Thoth deck. I love the fact that the Greenie doesn't have the green borders on the back. And my favorite Greenie lives in this beautiful Caracoda leather bag that says, "The answer lies within." I love these bags. So that's actually one deck, but 3 decks. Then my second favorite Thoth deck lives also in an exact similar bag, but this is just smaller. And this is a special edition of Finnish Thoth cards. These don't have any copyrights or anything, and the titles are in Finnish. I edged this one to fit the beautiful golden bags. But this is a special edition Finnish Thoth, so not super interesting for many English speaking people. And because I wanted to make sure that I would have, this wasn't expensive or anything, but I wanted, this was an only printout that they took from this deck, and they still had few of them left, so I thought I would take a spare one just in case, because they will never, I think, do these again. But this is unedged and still wrapped. So then that was 2. Then my third deck, a Finnish Thoth deck, but it is an 1986 AGM Muller version, and this one came with the 3 Magus cards. And this is my best deck purchase ever, because I paid €5 of this deck. It was incredible because it is in perfect shape. And I think even though these are not for using the other Magus, so this was a lucky chance that I got this deck. But before I found this online in Finland, I had already ordered my actually newest Thoth deck that just came in last week, and I didn't have time to open it before we left to Lapland with our motorcycle, so I opened it today. But this is a 1986 version of the Thoth deck in small card size, so it's same as this, but smaller, but with one exception. This also has the 3 Magus cards. But this deck actually took, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months or something to get to me from US. So in the meanwhile I got the Finnish version with 3 Magus cards. But hey, it was €5, so it was nothing. But this also, I just opened it today. I was sitting with it, I was cleansing it with some sage, doing a deck interview. And by the way, this one is the two of Wands, the Dominion. So a strong masculine Thoth deck. But this also came with the 3 Magus cards. So I just wanted to have, this was the one that I wanted to have as a collector's item. But I was lucky to also got that Finnish version. And the card stock in this one is, just leave the 2 Magus out, is again amazing. It's a bit shimmering on the backs, but not so much on the front. And the coloring is, if we compare it to the Finnish version, this is way more gray than this one. This is like really light gray. This has a different tone. But if we compare it with the Greenie, it's not green. But they are all different color at the borders. The Greenie, the vintage, and then the Finnish. But it has nice color, this one. And I really love the sturdy card stock that this deck has. So I think I'm gonna be using this one a lot. Then to the rest of the decks. A standard green box US game large card size deck that I bought especially for trimming. And here is the trimmed version. I edged it like a bit reddish brown because it matches this color quite nice. As you can see, like a mixture of those two. And I think it's always great to have one trimmed Thoth. It's so different to watch the pictures and really focus on the art in this one. And it's a deck that I don't feel too careful about using or shuffling or anything. It's just a low-key Thoth. And then the last Thoth deck is this gold edition, and it has these white borders. It's the same size as the Greenie, but has these borders, which I don't like so much. But actually when I got this one, the new 1986 vintage, they didn't bother me so much. They aren't so super bright white. I guess it's because it's older paper. But this has the gold gilded edges, and otherwise it's just plain old Thoth. Nothing super special about it. And I don't know, it's a deck that I don't actually use that much. First I thought I would want to modify this and cut off the borders, but then I thought I would save it because I got the US Games version. At least it has some difference in the outlook with the gilded edges. And the cardstock is a lot thinner than in the vintage decks. It's thin enough to riffle also. So to summarize this, here are my 6 different Thoth decks. The Greenie, that I actually do have 3 copies. The new small vintage one from '86 with the 3 Magus card. The Finnish special version with the golden backs. And then the AGM Muller 86 Finnish version. The trimmed US Games and the gold edition. And I think that my Thoth collection is now full. Currently just buying Thoth books and getting into them. And I thought that the next video on my Thoth study series would be just a collection, a shorter introduction to the different Thoth books that I do have. So I'll be making that next. But until next time again, bye guys!